What up, guys? It's me, Metro Tattoo Gamer here, and Mosnter Hunter Wilds comes out later this week, and I am currently getting myself hyped up for my eventual playthrough of Wilds. I will be picking it up after it comes out, so in the meantime, I am getting myself prepared by playing Mosnter Hunter World Iceborne. Now, today, I want to share with you guys in honor and anticipation and celebration of the next mainline huge Mosnter Hunter game, Mosnter Hunter Wilds. I'm going to share with you guys some of my very favorite monsters throughout the entire franchise. I'm not going to limit myself to just 10. I'm going to be showing you guys some brief gameplay and introductions to these monsters and try and share with you guys why I love these monsters so much. I'm going to share with you guys at least 10. I might have a couple honorable mentions at the end. So with that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to smash that like button, comment, subscribe, ring the notification bell, and let's dive into my top 10 favorite Mosnter Hunter monsters of all time, with some honorable mentions at the end. Starting off with number 10 is the Ruby Basarios, also known as the Peach Rock Wyvern. Now, I'm using gameplay taken from Mosnter Hunter Stories 2. I believe it was also introduced in either Mosnter Hunter Generations, like one of those games, or one of the other earlier ones, but it does make a big appearance in Mosnter Hunter Stories, and I just love the way that this thing looks. It looks like a walking pile of rocks covered in moss with these very beautiful ruby colored crystals. I love the Basarios, like the base one, but the Ruby Basarios takes it above and beyond and just makes it look super gorgeous with all of its new colors added on it. I like that mossy green, and just the colors of all the crystals on it just look absolutely beautiful, and this thing looks like a powerhouse. He can also inflict poison and fire and all sorts of other different elements, and he just looks really cool. But like, there are some other monsters in this list that look even cooler, so that's why Basarios is at the very bottom. Now, next up, number 9, we have the Earth Sand Wyvern, also known as the Wasteland Warrior, the giant mud-covered dinosaur-looking badass, the Baroth. I really love how this guy looks like a certain dinosaur whose name kind of escapes me at the moment, but this guy is just absolutely amazing. I love fighting him in the different desert areas that he shows up in. I love that huge kind of hammer looking crest on his head that he can then like get it all covered in mud and just shoot the mud all over the place. I love the different weapons and armor that you can make from him. I really like the Baroth. He looks absolutely amazing. I'm not a huge fan of the other variants of the Baroth, unlike the Basarios before it. I just prefer the base form of the Baroth with its browns and grays and earthy looking colors. Just looks absolutely amazing to me, and that is why Baroth has made it into this top 10. So next up, number 8, we have the Ice Fanged Wyvern. This monster looks just absolutely amazing. It's like a saber-toothed tiger meets a wyvern looking dragon creature. This is the Barioth. And what's funny is that I start off this video with 3 monsters that all start with B: Basarios, Baroth, and Barioth. Now, you obviously haven't seen the Barioth appear just yet, but there he is, looking elegant, a true terror in any of the ice areas in Mosnter Hunter. I can't remember which generation the Barioth was introduced in, but I love how the Barioth looks in Mosnter Hunter World. Now, next up, number 7 here, we have the Bubble Fox Wyvern, also known as the Bewitching Dancer, the elegant fox-like creature known as the Mitsusune. Now, I loved fighting the Mitsusune in Mosnter Hunter Rise, and I'm so excited for it to come back in Mosnter Hunter Wilds. This creature is very elegant looking. It inflicts... Well, it has like these bubbles that it uses in its attacks. It looks very beautiful with its bright, vibrant colors. Just true elegance, in my personal opinion. I love the way that the Mitsusune looks. It's one of my favorite monsters in Mosnter Hunter Rise. I always loved going out hunting for it. All the different weapons and armor you can make from the Mitsusune look very beautiful and elegant as well. Man, this is just one of the most elegant looking monsters, and I don't know how many times I'm going to keep saying elegant. Maybe you could turn that into a drinking game. But that is like the number one way I could describe the Mitsusune and why it makes it on this list. Now, next up, number 6, we have the Empress Spider, the Wandering Widow herself, the very terrifying and arachnophobia-inducing Rachna Kadati, introduced in Mosnter Hunter Rise, from my understanding. This is a giant spider covered in webs, female only. It's a Temnoceran, which has like very few monsters of that species. The Rachna Kadati is mostly found in the volcanic area in Mosnter Hunter Rise, and I honestly love fighting giant spider bosses in video games like the Legend of Zelda series with Goma, Armagoma, Goma from Majora's Mask, even the Goma introduced in Tears of the Kingdom, all fantastic boss fights. And that's why I really love Rachna Kadati. I really like its design, and I can't wait to face against the new spider in Mosnter Hunter Wilds, the Lala Barina. That one looks just as amazing, but the Rachna Kadati makes it on this list for the sheer fact that it is a giant volcanic spider looking very creepy and badass at the same time. Man, I honestly actually never really got to face against the Rachna Kadati myself, but it looks so amazing. Now, next up, number 5, here we have the Shogun Ceanataur, which was introduced in one of the older Mosnter Hunter games and has found its way into Mosnter Hunter Rise Sunbreak, from my understanding. Now, I am a huge fan of all things crustacean and marine life, and I love crabs, and this here, known as the sickle crab or the final flash, just looks absolutely amazing. I even have a little figure of the Shogun Ceanataur. I just love how its main claws look like sickles, and it just looks very ferocious and fierce and deadly all at the same time. It's a very fast creature, and once I do get myself into the Sunbreak expansion for Rise, I can't wait to face against this guy, and I want to play some of the older games that the Ceanataurs and Hermitaurs have made appearances in. I really just love this creature just based off of the design, even though I haven't really faced off against it yet. I'm just a huge fan of crabs, so it has to make its way on this list in the top 5 just based off of my personal bias. Now, next up, number 4 here, we have the Flying Thunder Wyvern, or as I like to call it, the Flying Sparky Squirrel Wyvern creature thing. Yeah, I have a better name for it, but I just spaced out there. I like to call it the Flying Thunder Squirrel Wyvern. The Tobi Tadachi. This creature just looks so cool. I love how squirrel-like this creature is. Its main element is lightning and thunder, and it's just so amazing. I also liked some of the weapons that you get. I like the design of the longsword that you can create using parts taken from this creature. I love the way that it was introduced in Mosnter Hunter World, and I hope that it's in Mosnter Hunter Wilds. I can't wait to face off against my favorite squirrel-like wyvern that shoots out lightning. It's just so badass in my opinion. But there's one other creature that will make an appearance on this list that just does the whole thunder and lightning thing a little bit better in my personal opinion. Now, next up, number 3, we have the Lord of the Seas, the giant Leviathan Wyvern creature, the Jrpgs, the flagship monster of Mosnter Hunter Tri, Mosnter Hunter 3 Ultimate, the whole Mosnter Hunter 3 whatever you want to call it. The Jrpgs is one of the very first monsters that I am aware of that you fight him almost completely underwater. This guy just looks absolutely badass, amazing, terrifying, fear-inducing awesomeness. I just love the design of the Jrpgs, looking like a giant sea serpent with arms and spikes, and I don't know what else to say about it. It's just absolutely awesome looking. I really love the Jrpgs, and I hear that it does make a return in Mosnter Hunter Wilds, so I'm really looking forward to hunting this guy in that game. Okay, number 2 here, and this is going to be one where you're going to be like, but Metro Taco Gamer, why isn't this one number 1? Well, this is the flagship monster of the entire Mosnter Hunter series. The King of the Skies, the giant fire-breathing terror that he is, the badass freaking Rathalos. And I love all the versions of the Rathalos. Primarily the base Rathalos and the Azure Rathalos. These flying creatures, these terrifying wyverns that breathe fire down from the skies. The King of the Skies themselves just look absolutely amazing. I love the design of the Rathalos. Very dragon-like. Just this is like the poster boy for a badass monster. I love fighting the Rathalos. I love the armor set, all the different weapons that you create from the Rathalos. Just fighting the Rathalos is very awesome, and just, oh man, I really just want to gush over the Rathalos here, but I'm just going to let this gameplay prove to you why Rathalos is deserving of the number 2 spot. Now, I could have easily put this as number 1, but my number 1 monster is just so cool. In my personal opinion, a lot cooler than the Rathalos, even though the Rathalos is, like, super cool as well. Oh, and he's fighting off a Toby Kadachi as well. Okay, guys, here it is. Number 1, the Thunder Wolf Wyvern itself, the Zenogre. Aw, man, I love this wolf-like wyvern beast. Oh, man. All forms of the Zenogre are awesome, but the base one just looks so badass. I love the way that it howls. I love the way that it absorbs the lightning from the thunder bugs that swarm around it. That's a good indication to know that one of these beautiful looking badasses is about to make its way into your sights. Fighting the Thunder Wolf Wyvern Zenogre is just one of my favorite things to do. I loved fighting him in Mosnter Hunter Rise. I fought him like several different times, or at least a dozen times, and I really love the design of all of its weapons, from the long sword to the dual blades. The armor that you get from the Zenogre looks absolutely amazing. I love the sword and shield, the great sword weapons based off of the Zenogre. Oh man, I could go on forever just talking about the Zenogre, but I'm not. Okay, here are some honorable mentions, starting off with the Kulu Yaku, or as I like to call him, KFC. And the main reason why this creature hasn't really made it into the top 10 is that he's not really all that, like, terrifying or deadly. He's just more of a goofball monster, hence why I nicknamed it KFC. Dude just looks like he is just messing everything up. Everything that he touches just gets messed up. Now, another honorable mention is the Goss Harad, which I faced off a lot in Mosnter Hunter Rise. This guy looks like an Oni monster, which is pretty cool, and I like that he creates like this giant blade of ice on one of his arms, but he just barely would have made it into the top 10 if it weren't for the other monsters that I actually did include. And then finally, the final honorable mention for this video, introduced in Mosnter Hunter Rise Sunbreak, another kind of wolf-like monster, more of a werewolf type creature. This is the Luna Gowron, which is one of the 3 or 4 new monsters that were introduced in Sunbreak. There was the Luna Gowron, there was one other creature, and then there was like the flagship elder dragon called Malzeno. Now the Luna Gowron kind of looks like a fusion of a Toby Kadachi meets a Zenogre, but with ice. Well, that is it. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. I am Metro Taku Gamer, signing out.